And hopefully you guys enjoy. If you do, make sure you subscribe, you like, tell all your friends. If you think this is fun, if you think this is a cool thing that we're doing here, tell everybody. If you don't like it, well, then don't tell anybody, please. Just keep it to yourself. Go away. If you did not sell books, now here is the thing. Welcome to you. This is going to be kind of a weird thing to listen to, but I'll give you a quick rundown of what the hell this is and why we're doing it. Ponytails Podcast interviews people who sold books door to door for a company called Southwestern Advantage, and they go and sell these books to families to help them with homework. We do this from 80, 85, sometimes 90 hours a week. People start at 7:30 in the morning and they go all the way till 10:30 at night, and we go Monday through Saturday. And on Sundays, we get to travel and go and organize our business that we've been doing all summer. They recruit college kids to do this from all over the country and all over the world, and they go and travel to different parts of the United States, and they just go set up shop somewhere and start selling these damn books. They've been doing it since literally the Civil War. So naturally, there's been, I think, 300,000 people that have done this in the history of the U.S., and about 150,000 of them are still with us and alive. And so what we do is we go find them and have them tell us their stories, their experience, how it went for them, what was it like going door to door, and all the crazy things that can happen. And also, we ask them about what they're up to now and how that experience helped them with what they're doing today. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you do, make sure you guys again share this episode, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, or on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and please, if you want to support, not financially, leave us a review, please. We would love that. We would really appreciate it because it really helps the algorithms, and we are finding that more people are finding us who sold books because people have been doing that and giving us that hand. If you guys want to support us financially, we do have a Patreon. There are perks that you can earn when you join the stable. Everything here at the Ponytails Podcast is horse themed. So we have a stable where all the ponies live, and those are all our fans. So you can join our stable group on Facebook for free. But if you want to support us financially, there's like a monthly thing that you can pay, and you get perks. You get to ask the guest questions, you get specific merch, you get discounts on things, you keep track of all the units, quote unquote, that you're making. It's a lot of fun. We have this whole thing going on. You guys can go to our website, theponytailspodcast.com, to find out more. But on that note, let's talk about my guest today. Okay, this is another Eagle Blitz person. So we've got I think it's been 6 Eagle Blitz people in the last 8 or something like that. So Nick Sproul, he sold books for 3 summers. So that's my guest today. 3 summer bookman that went to FSU, the Florida State University, sold from 2012 to 2012, and is from Pompano Beach, Florida. He's currently with Southwestern Real Estate, which we'll talk about a little bit more here as the show progresses. And his favorite scroll is number 3, which has been probably one of the most favorites, the most common ones. And I think I know why, but more on that and Nick in a little bit. See you guys soon. Ponytails Podcast. Boom. What's up, dude?
Hey, man. How's it going?
I am enjoying Portland. It's kombucha and not being in a state where there's hurricanes.
Yeah. We got spared down here in the Southeast, but yeah, man. Can't say the same for our whole state. You going vodka in the kombucha, huh?
Dude, we're going vodka in the kombucha.
Nice.
Swedish, because fuck Russia.
Definitely.
And let's see. You hear that? That's
and kombucha because Portland.
Kombucha because Portland, and hum because hum was started by a bookwoman.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. We had her on the show. If you guys want to check that episode after this one, her name is Michelle Mitchell. She was back in. We had her on in May.
Nice.
And yeah, dude, she literally went door to door selling kombucha.
Damn, dude.
And now it's like she's in Costco, Walmart, like all the major. She's all over the country.
It's so funny, like some of the stories you hear of people that sold books that are like, all right, I'm gonna go start a business, and they're like, well, I guess I'll just do what I know, just go knock on freaking doors and sell kombucha or whatever you're selling,
That's right. It's because it works.
Yeah, clearly.
It's a controllable grind. Yeah, clearly it works.
Yeah,
for sure, bro. Have you had kombucha before?
Yeah. We get some kombucha down here in South Florida. It's not as popular as some of your crunchier areas though, like where you're at. I'm sure. Well, I went to Austin not
True.
too long ago, and they had actual like alcoholic kombucha, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
right, that's cool." They don't really have that down here.
Oh
Um,
yeah. There's
we
all
could-
sorts here. It's like it's as big as like the beer scene, which is pretty big.
that's insane.
Uh, yeah. There's like kombucha bars. You can go and just sit and have a kombucha. Like they have them on tap and shit.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
not a thing here.
No, it's very granola, very crunchy, as you
Very
say. I love that. Crunchy.
That's awesome, man.
Dude, moving here from Nebraska, I'm like I was considered quote unquote liberal in Nebraska because I mean, who isn't, right? If you but I moved here and I'm conservative here. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, that sounds about right.
It's like it's been an interesting ride here in Portland. But okay, but wait, what are you drinking? What are you
Florida,
drinking before we dive in?
Florida. So I got this is local right here. And turn this however you can see it. It's a Hollywood Mango IPA. There's a Hollywood brewing company. So I'm in Hollywood, Florida, and it's right between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. We call ourselves the 50-yard line of South Florida. It's kind of right between these two big cities, like a suburb, smaller city in between the two. But this is a local brewing company that's like on. It's literally a brewery on the beach. So it's kind of hard to beat as far as like the
Oh, that's
for
dope.
the brewery. Yeah, it's good.
Dude, that's cool. Until a hurricane comes along and sweeps it away.
Fair enough. Is today's episode going to be all about hurricanes, man?
No, but it's just so recently, and it's just like
Uh,
that's I know. There's a couple reasons why I wouldn't move to
it's hard.
Florida, although I love Florida,
Yeah,
but hurricanes are one of the
yeah.
reasons.
When I was in high school, we had a hurricane season where we literally. So I grew up on the southeast coast of Florida, and we had a hurricane season where we literally had like three major hurricanes hit us in a 2-week period. It was a bad
Jesus.
year, and we were out of power for two weeks where we lived, and man, schools were closed for like 2 weeks. It was insane. It was like the world's longest snow day if you grew up in one of those areas. But we have hurricane days here.
Bro, that's so weird.
Yeah,
We we have cold days in Nebraska.
just like
Yeah.
it's too cold. You're not going to school.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly people don't believe me. That is exactly where it's like it didn't even snow. It's just supposed to be -48 because the wind sucks and there's so flat that there's no trees to stop the wind. So it's you just walk outside and it's just
Okay, I get it. -48 is no, that's way
and
too.
it's sunny outside.
Yeah, it's doesn't make sense.
And so they're like, do not go to school. Some of you kids walk, you will freeze
Yeah,
to death within minutes of being outside.
that's insane.
Don't do that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I never heard of that. No.
the air hurts your face, bro. You just walk outside.
And
And
get
it's like, no.
hypothermia. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
insane.
They literally tell you, like, don't try to be funny, don't try to pee outside
Mm,
because it
you will,
will chop it off, bro. It's a
you
good
will.
way to not have children.
Jesus. All right. Well, I'm glad there's things that, we got alligators here, but I'm glad we don't have to worry about being outside. So,
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And then it's super hot in the summer. So anyway, enough about Nebraska weather. And Florida. Florida weather's always interesting though. Let's get off schedule for a sec. Talk about Will Metscher, who helps people get the fuck out their own way. Move, bish. Get out the way. Go work with Will. Okay, back to work. Go. But
yeah.
dude, let's dive in. Let's dive into this damn thing. So you sold up to 2012. That was actually my first summer. So you were exiting as I was coming in,
Yeah.
which is in my opinion, golden year of Southwestern was 2012. Or one of the golden years of
I had
Southwestern.
I had fun. Yeah, I liked it. I was 2010, 11, and 12. Yeah, good times. Was at Florida State.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and then why did you leave? And walk me through. We'll get into Southwestern specifics, but walk me through what happened since you left and how you ended up here at Southwestern Real Estate. It could be as detailed as you wanted to, or as brief as you wanted to. It's your show, bro.
I so when I was exiting, it wasn't I had no like ill will towards the company or anything. I know that there's people that have left on kind of a bitter note. I didn't really leave on like a bitter note, but I was also like sales exhausted. I felt like I was going through that like mental I don't know, man. I just felt like I wanted to go backpacking through Europe and find myself. Like that's how my mind was getting like
Very crunchy.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, I've been working so hard. Like, it's time to go go into nature, whatever. I did not go into nature though, but I graduated from Florida State, and I took my own crunchy route, which was I went to music school after I went to business school. Um, so I
Oh,
was sales exhausted, but I had always for like the 10 when I was in high school and all through college, I DJ'd a lot of parties and did music production and
oh
so
shit.
yeah. So then when I left from selling books and from Florida State, I moved to Orlando and went to another school that's called Full Sail University. That basically I went to school for recording arts, for working in studios, for mixing and mastering and music production. So that's what
Yo.
that was my backpacking through Europe, right? Like I'm sales exhausted. I'm gonna go find myself in the studio and DJing in downtown Orlando 4 nights a week. So it was a it was a good time. I worked at a recording studio while I was there in Orlando, going to school and just working with artists. But then I moved back to South Florida, where I'm from, because Orlando doesn't really have a lot of recording studios, and Miami does. So, so I
Mm.
moved back to South Florida with the intention of working in the music industry. I first worked at South Beach Studios, like literally on South.
What's up, everybody? Quick off schedule jockey spotlights. Cardinal Senior Benefits brings the best options to old people when they're dying or in case they might die and giving them final expense insurance help and guidance. Super awesome company. Check it out. Back to work. Okay, so now we're gonna do the mid rolls.
South Beach in Miami, where all the all the famous movie scenes are shown of South Beach, where all the bright lights and the Art Deco look is. Our
Yo.
studio was a hidden studio that was under a hotel, and the famous artists loved it. Like Pharrell would walk in and nobody would know he was going into a studio. He would like come in a back alley, and so that was pretty cool.
No way.
Yeah, yeah, that was fun.
That's crazy.
Lot of reggaeton artists and hip hop artists at that studio. And then that studio got bought, and I moved over to DJ Khaled's studio in North Miami at We the Best Studios.
Another one.
Another one, yeah. So I was there for about a year, and it was it was a good time. Like I was in the studio with Meek Mill, Future, DJ Khaled, Nicki Minaj, like all the people you hear on DJ Khaled records would come to the studio. And that's
What
how I
the
was,
fuck?
yeah, yeah.
That's so sick, dude.
It was a good time. But it was not like selling books or sales where the harder you work, the faster you can move up. Like it didn't work like that in the music industry. And so I kind of got exhausted by that too. I was felt like I was teaching the other engineers that were above me. Like I was teaching them how to do shit, but I needed them to move out of their role so I could move up, you know? And so I
Yeah.
was just kind of playing that waiting game in the studio. That's an all night job. It's like you get the call at 9 p.m. and can you be at the studio in 30 minutes? And Meek Mill shows up 2 hours later for you to finally work. And so I was on the opposite
No
schedule
way.
of my wife, which at that point was my girlfriend, but my now wife. And I remember thinking like, all right, this is a night job. I'm gonna get my real estate license, and it's just gonna be a side hustle. Like it'll be something I can do during the day
Right.
while I'm not in the studio. And dude, I realized how much I missed sales. Believe it or not, like I missed the chase and the ability to just control how fast you advance by how hard you're willing to work. Music industry wasn't giving that to me. So got my real estate license, and the first year I joined a Keller Williams office because there was no Southwestern Real Estate at that point in Florida.
And
uh,
then what year is this now? So how long have you been? So you left
so
2012. So how much time has passed
yeah,
between here
so
and
was in Orlando for a couple years, moved to Orlando, worked in studios for a couple years. It's probably like end of 2015 when I get my real estate license and I hang it at the biggest name brokerage in South Florida, which is Keller Williams.
Damn.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it was a
Okay.
fun ride.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I have a bunch of questions about the music part, but we're gonna keep going, and
okay.
then we'll come back. We'll come back. We'll come back.
All right. Yeah. Whatever you want to do. Man. This is your show.
I
So
swear for you.
So, so I got my real estate license. I joined a team at Keller Williams and sold 29 houses the first year and was the rookie of the year in an office of 160 agents. And I was like, oh shit, okay, this is a real thing right here. This is
Wow.
working. And then the next year I stayed with that team. I was a buyer's agent. So primarily my job was to it was kind of like knocking on doors. My job was to call leads all day on the phone and try to convert them to buyers. And so I did that. And the second year it just grew. I think I did like 33 sales the second year. And so it was just kind of growing. After a couple years, I realized like, all right, I love some of the people at this brokerage, but there's also a lot of people here just kind of hanging their license, which is the culture of real estate in general. And I was like, okay, I want to really just be surrounded by a group of people that really want to be successful, that really want to grow. So I decided to get my broker's license, and then me and Shane Merrick, who was at
Yeah.
Thinking Ahead at the time, had kept in touch a little bit, but he had the bug in my ear like, hey, we want to be in Florida. Southwestern Real Estate wants to be in Florida. So right after I got my broker's license, which you need that before you can open a brokerage, um, got my broker's license, flew to Chicago literally the next week after I got my broker's license and started interviewing with Pat Roach. And then January 1st, 2018 was when I became the one-man brokerage for the state of Florida for Southwestern Real Estate.
Yo,
Yeah,
dude.
it was fun.
Whoa. It's a good ride. It's a good 10-year ride.
Yeah.
Bro, let me ask you some questions, bro.
All right, let's go.
Bro, let me ask you some questions. All right, okay. First of all, number one, let's rewind a little bit. Okay, you were just hanging out with Pharrell and DJ Khaled like it was nothing. That's what you're
Yeah,
telling
I
me.
mean, I was still like I was the low guy on the totem pole, so it wasn't like I was like equals. You know what I mean? It
That's
wasn't like
still
I was like, "Yo, Nick, what are you doing this weekend?" Like it was, it was. I was just in
you're
the
just. He was like, Nick, give me another Pepsi, and you're
yeah,
like, all right.
yeah, yeah. It
Or
was more like that.
we're
Nick,
not sponsored by Pepsi, but we could be. It could have been Coca-Cola,
yeah,
whatever. But
set up
give
this
me
fight.
another hum kombucha.
Another one,
Yeah,
another.
another one.
Yeah,
Dan, that's so crazy. But it seems like music is kind of your passion still somewhere deep down, or like there's still something about you that loves. Do
yeah.
you still get to do any music on the side now that you're a little bit more
I
financially
I'm a
flexible?
I'm a bedroom DJ sometimes. I have
Whoa.
turntables like the big yeah. The big like old school turntables that I still set up once in a while, and I'll get on there and make a little mix in the home studio. But
Hell
that's
yeah.
about the extent of it. I'm like not I have been asked to do like weddings and parties and stuff over the last few years, and I'm like I'm not doing like the prep time necessary for that. I just want to get in there and play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
Um, technical question for you from
Yeah.
the standpoint of that, or maybe more, yeah, this would be a technical question. How does like licensing work? I'm asking as a person who wants to have Pony by Guinevere, or as the played in the background of the Ponytails podcast.
Mm.
I've tried to look for the licensing. How do I go about doing that? What's the if you were gonna get, and
That's
maybe some other person, content creators looking for this answer as well. So
I actually don't 100% know the answer to that. Back in the days when I was putting out DJ mixes all the time, we would first put them on SoundCloud, and this is gonna date me a little bit because SoundCloud used to be the thing. But then SoundCloud really caught on to DJs putting all their mixes on there, and they started pulling them down. So then they created another platform called Mixcloud, where it was like all the music you were saying, was not licensed to you, but you could share it. You weren't making any money off of it. What you need is something called a mechanical license to
ah,
use that. And I think I don't know exactly how you get to the publisher to get that, but they want to check
that's
it.
okay. Even that is more than I already knew. A
Yeah.
mechanical license, and
Uh-huh.
basically I just go pay Guinevere like $500 or $10 million or whatever it is to cut and be like, and now we can start the show with wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow,
Just like
wow.
Guinevere. You met Genuine.
Did I say Guinevere?
Like,
Oh,
who's
dude,
Genevieve?
I've been watching too much like House of the Dragon and stuff. There's like Guinevere's. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
But
Genuine.
yeah,
I don't know why I said
that would be an awesome way to start the show though, man. Yeah, it's
I mean, it's worth it, right?
whoever owns the rights to Genuine's masters would have to give you permission to do that. Yeah.
Genuine's master's license.
Yeah.
No, mechanical license.
Yeah.
Mechanical. Okay.
That's
Ooh,
right.
that's good. Write that down. If you're listening to this and you're also wondering, because there's probably people who are DJs and stuff that I listen to this. I know Martine Cow, he listens to pretty much every episode, and now he's probably gonna. I'll probably have him connect with you for DJ stuff because
Let's
him
do
and
it.
Lucas Biscup are killing it.
Yeah,
They're
he
awesome.
needs to be on Mixcloud if he's not already. It's a great place for DJs to market their mixes where they don't have to worry about the licensing.
Mixcloud. I love
Yeah.
it. Cool beans.
Mhm.
Okay, so next question. So now you're going through I understand what you mean by working in an environment where some people are out there trying to kill it and the other people are just kind of hanging out,
Yeah.
not really. And that's not necessarily like it doesn't really conduce it's hard to get motivated, right? Versus when you go to somewhere where everyone's trying to be a badass and you're like, all right, I can thrive here.
Yeah.
So what has surprised you about working in the culture like that because I know it's like that already. For those of you listening, if you're wondering, Southwestern Real Estate is 100% that way. If you know Pat Roach,
Yeah.
you know that he can run a company that way. Every time we've had people on here from Southwest Real Estate, that's been the way. Unsolicitedly, they've described it as a super fun environment. It's like the fun parts of Southwestern,
Yeah.
minus all the drama of Southwestern.
Yeah. We're
Uh,
99% drama free.
that's right, 90% drama free, as Pat proudly says. But
Yeah.
in your personal experience, what has been versus Southwestern Advantage and versus
Yeah.
everywhere else you
I
do real
mean,
estate or the music industry? What's been the best for you personally that you've enjoyed?
iron
Oh,
sharpens iron. It is if the people that you're talking to and mastermind with and learn with on a daily and weekly basis, if they are constantly taking steps to improve in not just a business category of their life, but literally, like, we're talking about health and fitness and spirituality and personal growth and a lot of these things that that a lot of people took from selling books as well, right? But these are the types of conversations that we're having all the time when we get in a room. Jessica DeVries, who we were talking about before, I know she's been on here. She's been, for me, we used to use the term selling books where there was somebody in the org a lot of times that maybe they weren't like always the leader, but they were the white rabbit. They were the one that was selling a ton and that people were chasing after.
yeah.
Um, and Jessica DeVries is a good example in Southwestern Real Estate because she was always like a year or two in front of me in the way that she was producing and growing. And so it was cool for me to see, like, all right, somebody can go from selling 30 houses a year to 40 the next year to 50 the next year. It's not, you don't have to wait. Like, somebody else is always there doing it in front of you, and the example's always there, you know?
That's
So
sick.
it's really amazing, man, to have that.
And when you get to do it sounds almost like again, I don't know. I've only been taking things from what the people that I hear from you
Yeah.
guys that work there, but it sounds like it's like this is gonna sound bad for people who sell books, but it sounds like selling books, but for adults.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where Southwestern Advantage is maybe the best internship in the world,
Yeah.
but if you want like a career, but with that culture, but as an actual career,
Yeah.
and you're not a DSM,
Right.
then that's it.
Yeah, I agree, man. And because I think about it, dude, when you were at the beginning of the intro, when you were describing selling books, I was like, holy shit, like that's what we did. Like that was
Yeah.
wild. Like 85 hours a week we were out there. Don't get me wrong, like when you're starting a real estate business, you're working your butt off too, but I'm 32. I have two babies at home. I got a wife. I got other interests. Like, I'm not trying to be out here working 85 hours a week. So this business gives you the opportunity to really build a strong relationship business, relationship focused, relationship based business, and have a pretty good balanced life outside of that, you know?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I don't know that I've asked this, and if I have, it's been a while, so fuck it, I'll repeat it. But
Uh,
um, what what does your typical day and then week look like? I think I've said two of these.
yeah. It's totally, it's very different now than it was when I started. When I because the way we build our business is so relationship focused and focused on building a network of people that trust you and would refer you business and do business with you as their agent. My first probably year, 2 years in business, my day to day was I was at networking events like every single day. So whether that meant like
Oh,
going to Chamber of Commerce events in the day, I'm at a young professionals event at night, I'm at a Toastmasters meeting the next day, like I'm at
BNIs.
charitable organization, yeah, BNI. Like I was at probably 4 or 5 networking events a week in my first couple years, just trying to build my network as much as I could. Now that the network is a lot more kind of built up and clients are kind of there's a lot of clients built up now. My business is probably still 75% of my business is still me, um, me working on helping people buy and sell and invest, and then now about 25% of it is focused on coaching and mentoring and team building because we've got 10 other agents in Florida now under me. Um,
Oh,
so it has
that's cool.
changed a little bit where there's a little more like managing and mentoring, but a lot of it is still literally just relationship building. So going to happy hour with people and going to lunch with people in my network and
That's
um,
work.
that is work and it's awesome to be able to
Write it off.
for that being work. Yeah. But it's like it's the best way to work. Now don't get me wrong, like there's still you're planning events, you're doing tough negotiations all the time and you're having difficult conversations sometimes, but for the most part my job is to just go meet as many people as I can, build true authentic relationships with them and hopefully earn their trust to be their go-to guy. So whatever that looks like, for me, that's been a lot of happy hours, lunches, business networking. For a lot of other people, that's salsa lessons and going to church and going to play a basketball game, right? Like it just depends. You build your network wherever you want.
That's sweet, bro.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And so how many hours a week are you working? Because I feel like people, when we say it's like selling books, but for adults, you're
Yeah.
not out there 85 hours a week. Like what is your typical work
So
hour count?
in Southwestern Real Estate, we have a really cool apprenticeship program that I don't really know of any other real estate company that has it. But so I have a personal apprentice now, which means he gets to participate in 40 to 50 real estate transactions a year that I'm involved in, right? So he's learning every step of the way through those. He is also doing like all of my evening and weekend showings now because I got 2 babies at home and it's like I don't, so the leverage is there now. I'm probably not working more than a 40, 50 hour week, I would say.
Wow,
It's a
that's sick, bro.
it's a pretty normal, like pretty normal work week now, and that's it gets seasonal sometimes. Like there's seasons where we're slammed and we got 10 transactions pending right now, and we're gonna be working a lot more. But there's other seasons where we just got a couple deals under contract, and it's a lot more relaxed. So you gotta, I don't know,
That's
make
sweet.
there's some kind of you're from Nebraska, right? What's the farming term? Like you got to make hay while the hay is, I don't know.
Gotta get the hay while the hay's getting, or yeah. It's
So
your harvest. There's harvest seasons, right?
yeah,
There's harvest and
exactly.
sowing seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah. And reaping and sowing.
yeah.
Um, that's so cool. I don't think I've ever asked any of you guys from the real estate group some of these questions. We mainly ask about advice on the market and stuff, which I've noticed changes from state to state. Right? It's talking to Grant Greeter versus like you in Florida versus Pat in Illinois, and it's like it depends on where you're at. The
Yeah.
market's kind of, I mean, generally the market's kind of crazy in general,
Oh, yeah.
but
But it's hyper
see,
local, like
yeah,
it really is like where you are in the country is gonna interest rates are going up everywhere. So that's gonna slow down buyers countrywide. and we're seeing a little more inventory on the market. There's other places in the country where prices are coming down, and not in South Florida at all. There's there's
That's
a
wild.
there's 1,000 people a day moving to Florida, so it's
That's crazy.
yeah, we're busy still.
That's bananas, bro.
Yeah,
We here in Portland, it's expensive as shit. Everything's
oh
so
yeah,
expensive.
I believe
It's
it.
crazy. West Coast is just so expensive.
Yeah,
But hey, we got mountains and shit, so that's cool.
that's beaches. You got mountains.
Yes, sir. Oh man. Well, okay, let me ask you this, and we kind of wrap up the this chunk of what you're up to now here with this, unless we go into more tangents, but unless you tell me that you met Shakira one time because you were in her dance team or something crazy.
I wish.
Um,
No,
yeah, I know, dude. What a good time.
yeah,
No, it'd be fun to dance. Um, What what's the future for you? I mean, what do you see yourself 5, 10 years from now? What do you want to do
yeah.
with? I mean, what's the North Star? I guess now that because you it seemed like you've arrived at this really cool place, almost like a DSM level,
Hmm.
kind of,
Yeah,
But what's the future for you?
yeah. So for me, when I joined Southwestern Real Estate, I didn't join. I joined for that, iron sharpens iron concept, but also I knew that I wanted to build a group of people around me that all had that mindset. And there was nobody here in Florida yet. So I was like, all right, well, I get to be the one to start it and build that. It was but the way that my sales have grown every year has been a process of the end goal in mind, which is even though I'm always going to be able to make more money by selling a lot of real estate, as corny as it sounds, man, it just really fills my cup being able to watch other people grow. And um, my first summer when I recruited a team, my first summer, and my third summer, and I just remember when 6 out of my 7 kids finished. Like I remember the feeling of like, wow, those kids' lives were changed forever. And that's kind of how I feel now. Like when we get to the last interview step with somebody as they're coming onto our team, I'm like, they may not know it right this minute, but like this person's life, just the trajectory of their life just changed forever. And that's a really cool feeling for me. So that's always 5 years ago when I joined, I wanted us to have locations. I wanted us to have at least 3 locations in Florida. And 5 years later, we're in South Florida, we're in Orlando, we're in Gainesville, we're
Mhm.
in Jacksonville, and we're in Daytona, and soon to be in Tampa, Newport Richey area.
That's
So
sick.
it's been like, whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever, man, it's just been like really the right people being put in front of me, and the right, probably a little bit of attracting it and and wanting it and telling people I want it.
Yeah.
Um, but our team, man, I can't be more proud of them. But that's for me. Like when I think about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's not like I'm going to be making $1 million off of my personal sales. Like, and I might be, but the goal really is like I want Florida to be just I want it to be covered with Southwestern real estate people, man. I want us to be just a strong team full of integrity and just hardworking people, man.
Beating Keller Williams or
Yeah.
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 That's sick. That's
Yeah.
so cool. A follow-up question to this, because I just thought as you were saying this, what have you learned from the leadership side? Because it sounds like, I mean, we can talk about all the cool things about the buyer's market and seller's market, and we can call fun things to talk about real estate. We can go down that rabbit hole, but from the other standpoint, maybe there's someone out here who's like, hey, I want to know how to recruit for my business. Like, what are some things that you have found
Yeah.
um, to A, either attract book kids, because I know some of them are book kids, but
Yeah.
B, to just attract sharp people.
When I first, I think one of the things is parallel from what I did pretty decent when I was recruiting, selling books, and just kind of the process of how we've built a little bit now is I really think I try to prepare people as much as I can that it's going to be hard. Like I was never one of those people that was just like, oh, come on out, you're gonna make $8,000, it's gonna be awesome. Like I think I scared a lot of people away in the interview process, and that's why when I finally did recruit a team, I had one person leave, but 6 out of the 7 finished. because they were prepared just that it was going to be hard and that you don't quit when it gets hard.
Yeah.
So I think I really try to tell people as much as I can in the interview process, like, all right, here's what was really hard for me about the first couple years getting this business off the ground. From like a leadership and mentorship standpoint, I've learned that, man, like I'm more of like, hey, give me the formula and I'm gonna go after the goal as hard as I can. I'm gonna go crush it. And like that is not how everybody wants to be led, man. Like that's
No.
some people need like, and I've attracted some people on my team that really like to be led like that. And some of them even tell me like, dude, I just want you to tell me what to do and tell me to get up
Don't
on
go do that.
and go do it. Yeah. And then other people are like, no, dude, I need you to go on this journey of emotions with me while I go up and down trying to figure this out. And so, as a man, I try not to just say, okay, here's the solution, right? Like I'm trying to learn how to.
What up, everyone? Off schedule story, really quick. Cardinal Senior Benefits has their top agents grossing about 10 to 15K a week. That's a lot of units, folks. Like shit ton of units. Pretty badass.
How to guide people without giving them the answer sometimes and just letting them self-discover a little bit more. And then when they have that click go off, I'm like, yeah, that's what I've been telling you. you know.
Yeah.
But man, it's just, yeah, it's super fun to watch people develop and watch their businesses and personal, and the conversations that were really tough for somebody to have 6 months ago have gotten much easier for them to have now. And that only happens by reps, that only happens by doing.
Yeah. It
Mm,
sounds like there's no shortcutting the work. There's no shortcutting the learning curve. I
no.
mean, and from a simple to shortcutting is like you can't skip it. Maybe you have a shorter curve because you're more inept with it. Maybe it makes more sense to you. Maybe it doesn't make as much sense as the person next to you, but at some point you will come out of that curve, kind of like the third week of the summer,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, got it, I got it now." I'm not good at it, but I get it. And
Yep.
so, um,
And that goes for, think about it though, like that goes for your like engineer brain person that's like, okay, if I talk to 30 people a day, I get 2 sales. Like that's the formula,
right,
right? And it also goes for your like super outgoing person that doesn't give a shit about the numbers, but just likes to talk to people, is like, yeah, usually by week 3, like they're starting to self-discover that, okay, I do have to do 20 sit downs a day or whatever it is to really have the
yeah,
results I want.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's really cool. And it sounds like a sweet environment. I mean, if I know who are all the other people. I mean, I know you got Meredith Gardner
So,
in there
um,
in Florida.
So down here in South Florida, it's me, Rodrigo Pavoa, who sold books as well. He's
Yeah.
he's in Miami. I didn't know him when he sold books. He was after my time. But he was referred to me by my first apprentice who sold books named David Schwartzberg. Um,
Okay.
he's down here. He's in Boca Raton area. Got another guy down here in Coral Springs area named Trevor Newman. He didn't sell books, but he was also referred by another guy that sold books. Um,
Nobody's perfect.
yeah, yeah. So he's a hustler, man. So that's our South Florida group. In Orlando, we've got a girl named Jessica Edwards that did not sell books, and another guy named Corey Shirley that sold books at the same time as me. So I knew him
Whoa.
from then. Um, Matt Seitz is in Daytona.
Yep.
We've got a guy named Ronnie Rios who sold books. He just started with us in Jacksonville. And then another guy in Jacksonville named Jose Medrano, who was actually a client. He was one of my first clients in real estate in South Florida. And then he moved to Jacksonville, got his real estate license, and we happened to be getting started up there at the same time. And just, the world came full circle.
Jamming.
Yeah,
Let's go, dude.
it's been fun.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, if you guys are listening in, you want to learn more a little bit about Southwestern Real Estate. If this kind of career sounds fun to you, and you are in a state that even if Southwestern Real Estate is not, and apparently, if you bust your ass enough and you're willing to work a little extra harder, you can be kind of like Nick in a few years and open up in that state. If you're in the state of Florida,
Yeah.
how can people get a hold of you? How can people find you to learn more and more? Maybe they want to
Yeah.
come work for you, or they want to refer someone to you, or maybe they just want to say hi.
Yeah.
What's the best way to? for them to
I
reach you?
mean, I'm sure a lot of our people are on Facebook and Instagram and all that. You can find me there easily. It's Nick Sproul 954. And I mean, my email address is nicksproulsells@gmail.com.
Nick,
And
that's
we
NICKSPROUL.
NICKSPROUL sells SELLS @gmail.com. And we don't like a Meredith Gardner, for example, who
Knock, knock, hello. We're going to get off schedule really quick to talk about Southwestern Real Estate. The president, Pat Roach, is a big fan of the show. He is such a cool guy to be able to hang out with, spend a lot of time with. And from everybody who's been in the show who works there, we've heard that it's a pretty badass place overall. You guys heard about the 99% drama free? Well, go find out for yourselves. Click the link below. Back to work.
I don't think I said her name when I just went up the state, so let me mention her real quick too. But when somebody is like, we start new satellite areas for the right people. There's a lot of people that need to come in where other people are and learn, but if somebody sold books and they're or didn't sell books or whatever, but they're ready to work hard and build something and super coachable, we'll start a new area with the right people.
That's super dope.
I
Dude, I
know.
appreciate that. NickSproulsells@gmail.com. There's on your screen if you guys want to check it out. Did I spell all of that right?
Yes.
SPROULSELLS@gmail.com. Sweet.
Yeah.
Dude, fuck yeah. Congratulations, man. When I talked to Pat about who we should talk to, and your name came up, he was like, ooh, yeah,
Ooh,
he's crushing. That's like sweet.
awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Thanks.
Oh man, let's jump into some Southwestern shit. 2010, winding the clocks back.
Yeah.
How the fuck did you get into this thing?
Dude, and
How
I
did you get recruited, bro?
was I think I was 19 or 20, I guess. And man, I was such a like punk looking kid. Like I had a fade like shorter than my chin hair is right now. This DJ kid, right? Like DJing a few nights a week, and like I was too cool for school.
Did
But
you
I
have
got
earrings? Did you have
yeah,
earrings?
I had
Oh,
two diamond studs in one ear. That's how cool I was.
wow.
Yeah,
No balance. No balance.
yeah,
We're gonna do two
yeah,
on the left side.
yeah, bro.
That's what Pharrell and 50 are doing. Let's
That's right.
go.
That's right. So I got I got the call. Like everybody, I filled out the survey, got the call, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to come make $8,000 this summer?" So that was all I heard on that first call, and showed up showed up to the info session, and I was like, "All right, well, I've been better than average at some things I've done. I can go out there and do this." And like so many other people, my family and friends group was a lot of my friend group was against it. Like, dude, you're gonna go miss the whole summer of like partying in South Florida to go freaking
Oh.
knock on doors in West by God, Virginia. It
And
was
now that means a lot because like in Nebraska, when people were like, "You're gonna miss a whole summer in Nebraska,"
yeah,
you're like, "Oh yeah, I know. That's
yeah,
why I want to go."
the goal. Yeah.
versus like, oh, you're gonna miss a summer and partying in South, like in Miami.
You're gonna be playing
That's the
ping pong on the beach, like
it.
yeah,
It's a party all year. It's like Vegas, Medellin, and Miami, right?
yeah, yeah, it
In
is.
the world, like
It
it's
is a
like
party
people
all
partying all of the time.
yeah. I was raised by my grandparents for most of my life. I called them, they were in two different places when I found out. I called them separately. First I called my grandma and she was like, that sounds insane. Like it sounds like this company's just trying to take advantage of college kids or whatever. And I was like, all right, all right. So then I called my grandfather who has done sales his whole life. And
Yeah.
told him, and he's like, "Oh, you should definitely go do it. Like, you should do that for sure." And I was like, "All right, well, good. Call your wife and talk to her about it."
In a way, they were both right,
Yeah,
you know? Like
but she, not like my whole family is, they saw what it did for me. They're so happy I did it, clearly, but
Oh, yeah.
they're the knee jerk reaction of like, that sounds retarded, sounds ridiculous. You don't know
Yeah,
where
and I
you're
mean
going. Like, why can they not tell you where you're going? you know?
yeah, yeah. Honestly, it is it's fair to say it's sketchy
Yeah,
at best, right?
yeah,
But it's ultimately it's fine.
That's
And
part of the dude, that's part of the, like, sales boot camp aspect of it, like, you don't get to know where you're going, you need to go find a place to live, some people, right?
right.
Um, and, yeah, that's what made it what it was, man. It was an event.
And here's the thing, no diss on people who wear 2 earrings on 1 ear, but you're not doing that right now. So in some ways,
Yeah,
things have changed.
I grew some hair. Yeah,
Right.
when I got into real estate, it was like, "Okay, I gotta grow some hair and put a suit on," and, like, I'm trying to sell people's biggest assets to people that are 20, 30, 40 years older than me. I gotta look the part a little bit, right?
Yeah, you know, you gotta fake it till you make it at the very least.
Yeah,
So, okay, so this is the reaction you get from your guardians, if you will,
yeah, yeah. Um,
and you what time of the year is this?
um, yeah, I mean, probably whatever the regular, like, recruit I definitely had a few months before
Okay,
going out. Yeah, I got a
okay.
few months of training for sure before going out. I got to start getting to know some of the other people that, were already selling at Florida State and kinda become, learn who some of the people were and excuse me, before getting out there for sales school. So yeah, it was a good time, man. Got out there to sales school, and then they told me you're going to West by God, Virginia, and I'm from. Like I said, I'm from. The only thing I ever knew was like the culture of the beach and the city of South Florida. I never have been to like a rural place in my entire life before that. So
Oh my
uh,
god,
it
the
was
things you were into. Now here's the thing, we've had people on here who've sold in West Virginia, and it's been a trip.
yeah,
So I wanna pick your brain on this. Before we get to the actual summer though, I
yeah,
always love asking about your first sales school
yeah.
and what that culture shock was like, because it always is. It's always like a like you're like, "What the fuck did I get into?" What was that like for you?
As much as I like as much as I thought I was kinda too cool for school, I really did, like, buy in pretty quick too. Like, there when, kids are outside, like, running with the backpack over their head and, like, it's raining out and people are knocking on others' backpacks and stuff, like, I'm like, "Alright, I can do this, I can get into it, I can run around in a circle and, do this." So, yeah, it was insane, and it was a little bit of culture shock too, but I was like, "Alright, I'm here for it. If this is what I gotta do to go make money and pay my way through school, this is what I'm gonna do." You know?
Let's go.
So
Yeah.
so, yeah, I believed it. Now, granted, I'm still wearing like a giant gray hoodie and I have a skin fade like shorter than, I still look way too cool to be out there, but yeah.
This is what people think is cool in Florida.
Yeah,
Obviously, they'll think this in West Virginia.
wearing a hoodie in 90 degrees, that's what's cool.
I'm a DJ.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So you got out to West Virginia. Did you have a place to live, or did you have to find one?
Yeah, we had no place to live. I got put in a rookie HQ. Um,
Oh my god, that's the worst.
we were the last people to find a place to live, our HQ. And it was dude, it was we so in our HQ, I'm like, I'm not sure how much we're supposed to talk about here, but I know the rules. I'm just gonna talk.
Go
So
for it. I don't give. It's we're it can't hurt you anymore.
yeah.
Like it can't hurt you anymore.
So in our HQ, we had to enter the house in the kitchen and then walk into a bathroom to get to a bedroom that we would walk through that bedroom. The bedroom had a hallway of stairs going up that bedroom, and we would walk up those stairs, which had no door at the bottom or top of them. And at the top of those stairs, we were in like an attic above the garage. And the floors were plywood. Like we had a couple mattresses in there and a couch. Um,
Yeah.
and
West Virginia
we,
headquarters.
we had to walk through. So this is a bunch of like 19 and 20-year-old guys, three of us. We had to walk through this like 17-year-old girl's bedroom to get to our room.
Oh, dude.
Um, it was like, yeah, it was unacceptable. But
Oh,
this was a family they were doing it for the money, bro. Like they were not doing it.
bro.
They needed the
You
money,
get up at 6 in the morning, 5:59, and
and
she's probably still sleeping.
we had to creep through her room to get to the bathroom that had the
Oh my.
shower. you know,
God, dude.
which was attached to her room. It
And then
was
go back
it was
up
awkward.
to
And then
change,
yeah,
and then go back down to go out.
yeah, it was awkward, man. And at night, like sometimes these teenagers would party in the garage under us. So it would be like certain aromas floating up into our,
Dude,
our room. We're
you're
like,
smoking weed and drinking alcohol, and you're like, "Oh," and puke
"Ugh." Yeah, and we're just
music,
trying to be good kids. I think
and you're out here trying to sleep, and you're like, "Oh, this music is trash. I would be rocking this party."
that was a terrible transition from one song to the next. That's what we call a train wreck in our business. um, so, dude, it was a wild time. That family did gift me a bottle of moonshine at the end of the summer, though. Thank you guys for that. Well, West
All their
Virginia,
summer savings.
good for some things. But I was put in a rookie HQ that I think there was I don't know if this is a concept that like still exists, but this was a rookie HQ that I think they were like, let's just put these three kids together, like they're all gonna
They're
fail.
gonna quit anyway. Yeah, they're gonna quit anyway. Don't let this way we can contain it so that the rest of the org doesn't have to know that one
Yeah.
of them quit. They're all
So
gonna quit by day 5.
one of them quit week 2. And so then it's me
Nice.
and one other kid. The first one was a walker, like it was rough for him. I don't, whatever. He quit week 2. And then the second one quit, I think probably like week 5 or 6 or something. And so now I was what's called a book ninja. I lived solo in this HQ for about a week. And then they were like, all right, we got the solution. They sent a manager to come live with me. The manager quits like 3 days into living with me. I
That
just come
manager's
home
like,
one day.
I'm not walking through the 17-year-olds again. She
Uh,
sleeps weird.
yeah,
It's uncomfortable.
it was all
I'm
kinds of
out.
uncomfortable. I come home one day and his stuff's just gone, and this is great. So then I'm a book ninja again for like another week or two. And then they send me 2 other first years that actually did finish the summer with me for probably the last 2 or 3 2 or 3 weeks. And one of those first years went on to become the best man at my wedding. It's funny, like the world, man, everything
Who
comes.
is this?
His name's TJ Heil. He works for Tom James now in Orlando.
I have to get TJ on the show. I want to
Get
hear.
TJ on. The
Get you guys
boy's
both
got
on the
some
show.
stories
Share
for
some.
sure.
Yeah, we should get you guys both on the show to share some fucking
Yeah,
funny
definitely.
story, bro. That's so crazy because you never left that HQ. They could have just moved you.
Never left the HQ because I mean I was doing well. I finished number 23 my first year. I was doing pretty decent. Um
Was that Shane Hertig's first summer as well,
I think so. Yeah.
or Jen? No, or is it Jen and Lee?
I don't Jenny
Who's
Newt
who's
was
the number 1 first year?
I don't know. I actually don't even remember. Um yeah. I
Obviously,
mean
obviously, it was important. Obviously, it's so important.
I don't think it was somebody from either. I don't. Eagle Blitz was kind of like segregated. I think like we didn't really like interact with a lot of the other groups all the time. So I think if it was somebody not from Eagle Blitz, like I probably didn't even know
Dude, that is true. When I first joined, I remember thinking like, "What the hell is Eagle?" Because I joined like super late, so I didn't even know that Force was its own thing. I didn't. When people were like, "Are you Force?" I'm like, I know
him.
I'm supposed to say yes to that because I am, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like, I don't, you know, and I
Yeah.
didn't even know there was like, and we would do get backs because now they do get backs and it's almost everybody. Like
Mhm.
all orgs go to the same, like, whatever, NOLA or whatever.
Yeah.
But before it used to be, we do a get back in Chicago, it'd just be JYD and Force Kids. And I didn't even know
Yes.
Eagle Blitz was a thing.
That's how it
So
was when I.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, our org had probably 4 or 5 first years in the top 25.
Hey, you guys
We
crashed.
had a
That's
good,
awesome.
yeah. So yeah, man, I'm glad I stayed in my crazy little HQ and finished up strong, and got me a bottle of apple pie moonshine.
Let's go. Now,
Yeah.
did the summer go? I mean, we haven't actually asked about production in a long, long time, but it sounds like you crushed it. I mean, how was
I
your
don't know if yeah,
trajectory?
I don't know what crushing it is, and I think probably like the concept of what crushing it is 10 years ago changed like over the years, but I
Sure.
I think
Right.
I sold like 3,100 units the first summer.
Yeah, that's a great summer. That's a great first summer. Yeah, and even in today's world, that's a still pretty good summer. The value of the unit has changed, which
Mm,
it's 8 times, and that's your profit. So 3,100 would have made you about 20, just south of $25,000 for the summer,
yeah,
which is not a bad summer.
yeah, it was
Back then, I think it was $5, so it would have been
right.
like,
That sounds
15,
more right.
16,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds more right. And we didn't have subscriptions at that time.
right,
We didn't have
right.
anything digital.
Yeah, I think the website came out that year, but it was like only like the top sellers from the year prior that were actually showing it and trying to sell it. And it was like, I think it was called Southwestern Edge. It was like not good.
Yeah, Swedge. Yeah,
Yeah, something like that. And then my first summer was the first summer in 2012 was the first summer where like squids got rolled out, but it
mhm,
was still so new that like logs, online log subscriptions weren't even like they weren't even counted.
right.
Like, it was
Yeah,
like you didn't get units for them. It was just something they were like, "Oh, if you can, have
do
them
it.
sign up for this."
We'll
You're like,
figure it
"Cool."
out. It was
I think
kinda
I had like 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, it was kinda so that was my last summer. It was kinda nice though that, like, a year later, I was still getting checks deposited. That was nice. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, and it's such a big part of the deal today. I mean,
yeah,
it's like there's kids
residual.
that are getting 5, 6, $7,000 a month on just residuals, which, for a college kid is pretty not bad.
Yeah, I would
So,
say so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet, man. And so, but it sounds like you had the summer where you like started rough and then it grew. It was you kind of had the ideal summer where it got better as you went, or
Yeah,
was it the opposite?
I was not one of those, like I don't think I was the most, like, outgoing person in the world. I think I was more of the, like, "Give me the formula, and I'll just keep fighting and fighting and fighting." So I think, yeah, it was like around week 3 or so that it started to build a little more for me. Now everything's relative too, because like I would talk to other people that were like, yeah, I had 0 customers my first couple days or something. I had 3 customers my first day. But yeah, I don't know. It was just like the concept of what's good and what's not good. I didn't know.
Yeah,
You don't
it's so
know.
relative.
Yeah.
And yeah, you don't really know until after your second summer. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
because you're supposed to train and manage.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first customer? Do
I
you remember your
do.
first?
I and I remember like the way I did not have my sales talk memorized for sure. And so like when I started, dude, it was just like pulling random stuff out of my bag. I'm like, look, this is math and this is a CD, and then like here's the MUFUs. So the order was ridiculous. It was like one math book, like half a set of Ask Me's, and like an ACT prep. Like it was just, no concept of like putting together an organized like package. But yeah, man, I remember it was probably like halfway through my day, and I'll leave more stories about my first day to the ponytails part. But
Cool,
but
cool.
I was having a rough day already. And so when that time came around and she bought something from me as a strong order, it was, a couple $100 my first customer, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is real, this works.
Dude, it's
Yeah,
kind of fun when when you get that first check.
yeah,
By the way, people listening, strong order means half down. If you don't remember,
yeah,
um, yeah, dude, it's. I remember leaving the first store that bought. You're like, it works.
yeah,
I can do this.
yeah. Like I didn't believe all those other people that did this before. Yeah, but
I
now I know.
thought this was bullshit.
Yeah, it's not a scam. It really works. Yeah, yeah, it was a good
It's
time.
so funny, dude. And it sounds like there's some more fun stories of that first summer for the ponytail. So,
Yeah.
uh, we'll
First
let
day, man. My first day was crazy, but I'll get more into that later. Yeah.
okay, I'll put that on the chat so we can remember first day
Okay. Yeah.
story ponytail.
Yeah.
Dope, dope, dope. Okay. So how did you decide you wanted to come back? Why? Why the fuck did you go? All right, let's do this thing again. West Virginia was amazing. I need a second dose.
Dude, as I was driving back to Nashville for checkout, I was like, that was insane. That was great. I'm really glad I did it. I grew so much, and I'm never doing that shit again. Like it was 100% decided. And then, you start hanging out with book people and you go to Sizzler and you're like,
It's the worst.
these people are freaking great, man. Like these people are way cooler than, there's an exceptional we have like a joke in Southwestern Real Estate where we're like, there's an unusual amount of cool people that work for this company. And that's
It's
kind
hard to explain.
of how I felt, you know? Yeah, it's like,
See,
go ahead.
you're telling me this right now, and every person that sold books listening is going, "Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly the people you're describing." How would you describe it to maybe if we tried to describe it to people who didn't sell books?
Yeah.
How
Well,
would you
if you explain what's important now about like the reason I love the people at Southwestern Real Estate, it's a little different than then. I was like, man, these people just go out and they just like somehow they get to the front of the line and then they just buy a bunch of Patron shots because they all have money and they just, they have a great like these people just have a great time everywhere they go, and they also are like the presidents of their fraternity, and they also work out every single day, and they read books, and like these people are trying to grow in every single aspect of their life, and they're also really fun to hang out with, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, dude.
that's what was important at that time in my life. Like we used to joke about the group that we hung out with was called We Don't Pay Cover, because like truly, like if we went out in wherever college town in Tallahassee or Orlando, or like we would get the group together in Tampa, and Amy LaValle was kind of like one of the leaders in our group at that
We
time.
need we need Amy on this
We
show.
need Amy on
She's
the
been mentioned so many times, dude. You have no idea how many times she's been mentioned on the show.
she would always go to the front of the line and like get our whole group of 15, 20 rambunctious 22-year-olds to the front of the line and be like, oh, this group right here, like they don't pay cover. And like somehow we just
We'd
went
get
in.
in.
Yeah, like I don't get it. But I was like, wow, these people are awesome.
These are the craziest people in the world. They are, bro. You
Yeah,
gotta be bananas to go door to door in first place. So anybody listening who sells door to door, who sold door to door, you're crazy. But
yeah,
then also, if you sold door to door for Southwestern, and I don't mean to try to create like a tier or system, but it's just different. I'm not saying it's better. It's just different, bro. It's
for sure.
so bananas, dude. So
So,
yeah, that's infectious. That makes sense. You go to Sizzler, you're like, how do I not do this again?
yeah,
Because you work hard and then you play hard. You play just as hard in that 5-week period, 5-day period, as you did in that 12-week period of work.
yeah.
It evens out
It's like
for sure.
it's a mantra at that point is work hard, play
How
hard, you know.
how would you explain Sizzler in your memory? Like what is Sizzler to
What
you?
what memory? It
It's blackout the whole fucking time he
was
says.
crazy. Yeah, it's I mean, first of all, like I think a lot of people at that age, you're 21, 22, whatever, however old you are, 20 in some cases, a lot of people have never been to, where did we go? Puerto Vallarta and Cancun and all of that. So just that by itself, it's already like, wow, this is beautiful. This is tropical. The water's beautiful. And then you add in that, like, okay, like you don't have to wait or pay for drinks here. They just keep bringing you what you would consider to be free drinks at the hotel all the time, right?
Yeah.
Everything was all
And you
inclusive.
earned this.
Yeah.
You're not paying for any of this. You earned it through working. Yeah.
Yeah. That's an important detail. You earned this. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that in itself is amazing. And then you're just surrounded with people that you're like, man, like I truly, I'm starting to love these people from just not just like the superficial standpoint of like, man, they party really hard, but like these are the type of people I want to grow with. They're fun to relate to, hang out with, and they all have goals to grow, you know?
Yeah. It's cool, man. It's
Yeah.
a cool thing.
And they pull you
It's
back.
really it really and then you're back and then you go to GRS and you're like, "Damn it.
Yeah.
I'm going for another summer, aren't I? I'm
Yep.
doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing friends. I
Yeah.
am. I'm doing."
How did that
So
happen?
how'd that go for you? Did you bring some friends?
No, not first summer. Well, going into second summer, I think I tried to like I didn't full time. I tried to like half time recruit. I did. I ended up recruiting like maybe like 4 people, which in the last week dwindled down to 2 people, and then those 2 people were 2 girls from Panama, and their visas got denied the week we were gonna go. So then my 4-person team
Bummer.
turned to 2, turned to 0, and I was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna sell more this summer." So, second
Did
summer.
you?
Yeah, I did grow. Not I don't none of my summers was like a huge jump from one to the next, but every summer I was like, "All right, I'm gonna grow. I'm not gonna decline." Even when you learn about what being off schedule is.
Yeah, that is the big transition
It's hard.
into your B second summer. You're like, oh,
That's a
people
thing.
don't work.
Yeah,
people
that's a
people
hard
don't do this.
yeah. Stole my work innocence. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You did you
Yeah.
ever get off schedule?
Yeah, I think my second summer, like, not severely. I probably, like, started bending the schedule a little bit towards the end, but never, like never really off schedule. My 3rd summer, I had a couple rough weeks. But no, my second summer, I stayed pretty well on, and, went to Kentucky my second summer. And
Ooh.
that was great. I mean, dude, Kentucky, I liked Kentucky. So I worked in Kentucky where is it Fort Knox? I think it's Fort Knox.
Mhm.
Which was like it was a military area. And
Crazy different.
I
Crazy
loved
different.
it. I loved it. Like,
Yeah.
the people were all in West Virginia, it was like, dude,
Sharp.
in West Virginia, I learned the definition of what hillbilly means. Like, I always thought hillbilly and hick and redneck were synonymous words. Being from South Florida, we don't really have that concept. Until I went to West Virginia, I learned what those concept differences are. But in Kentucky, man, one of the counties that I got to work was where Fort Knox was. The families were all military, and they were
That's
just like
wild.
straight shooters. I loved it. They all knew each other, and I'm like a straight shooter type of person, and it was fun. I got to build rapport quick and easy and get it done.
Yeah, and they kindly cut right to the shit,
Yeah,
right? It was
I like
it's a cool type of person. Yeah, this also happens whenever you would meet a cop as well,
that.
or whenever you would, sell to someone with a little bit more authority. They're like, you know, cut the shit.
Yeah.
What do you need? You're like,
They
it's
don't
books. They're
they
like, oh,
don't
okay, cool.
do there's a term they use in Tom James, I've heard my wife say it, called, like, they field tripped me, where, like, they listened to my whole pitch, they acted like they were gonna buy, and then at the end, they didn't produce a credit card number.
Right.
They took me on a field trip. Nobody did that in military area. You
Correct.
I loved that. They were
It's
they were
great.
with you. Yeah.
Like,
So
if you got to the close was a formality because if you made it this far, it means that they were gonna buy. It was just more of a how much are they gonna buy,
right.
right? And so that's a different kind of and this is a really cool, maybe a cool conversation to have is the different styles that people love to buy and sell through and how they go through it.
Yeah.
At least with this kind of person, it's so cool because you want to show everything
Mhm.
because you want to give it to them and say, you guys choose whatever you want. I'll just show you the entire menu. And more often than not, they would go, "We'll take that, that. Don't eat that. We'll take that. Cool." And
Yeah.
it's like $950 or something,
But they would also be the type of people that if you're like, "Okay, here's the whole menu. If I was you, knowing what you just told me about your family, I recommend this, this, and this. Do you wanna see just those?" And they'd be like, "Yes."
Yes, yeah, 100%. And it was so fun because now it was a shopping experience. You're like, they're probably
They're
gonna buy.
they're not like, I need to read every detail of this and look you up on the Better
No,
Business Bureau and see how this is gonna play out over the next 4 days." Like,
they don't give
they were ready.
they
Yeah.
don't give a fuck, dude. They're right into it. We're jumping in. If we're here, we're this far, I let you in my house is because I'm interested.
Yeah.
Right? It's not because I'm
Yeah.
curious, it's because I'm interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing. And Fort Knox is cool. And
It was
people in
fun,
the
man.
military selling the people in the military is a blast, bro.
I
They
was
love your hard work.
It was such a blessing how I ended up there. I forget this is a good story to tell, and it's not on my ponytail stories, but so I ended up in Fort Knox because I lived in Elizabethtown, which is everybody calls E Town there, and and I was selling in Grayson County, which was one high school, 2 or 3 middle schools, probably 4 or 5 elementary schools. I'm a B contract, so I got all my books in the trunk, right?
Yep.
One of the first things we always talk about is I'm not from the schools, but somebody said this kid said he's from the schools, and this was also the summer that I just decided like news was not a real thing. um,
Uh,
uh,
mhm.
so so first, a couple, 1 or 2 people says something that this kid says he's representing the schools, which of course I never said. And then an all call goes out to every single parent and teacher in the county, which is pretty much everybody in the county, that says like, hey, if this kid approaches your door, he's a scam. Don't answer the door. Blah blah blah. So that all call goes out. I have a terrible day. I'm like, dude, this has never happened to me before where just no one's answering the door. And finally at like
Right.
2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, somebody tells me why. And then the cops surround my car and they're like, hey, the news put out an article about you that you're a scam and you're not really delivering these books. And I was like, oh, that's how news works. Like they don't actually have to verify anything. Somebody just told them this and they just ran this story. Like, that's insane, first of all.
Dude, just even that realization alone, you're like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
I'm like 20
When
years
you're
old.
innocent,
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
when you're like innocent, you're just trying to work.
I've been believing things I hear on the news, like, and then so then the cops have surrounded my car, and I'm like, "Dude, look in the trunk, like, all the books are here. These are the list of customers that literally already have books in their house." And so, long story short, the cops are just finally like, "You got to get out of this county." So thank God I did, because then I went over blue light special, baby, and then and then I went over to the county that Fort Knox was in, and I killed it with no names, and I was like, "This is my people. This is where I belong." Yeah,
That's the shit. So let's look at this territory here on the screen. We got you just south of Louisville, which is how they say it,
Louisville, yeah.
Louisville. And you went out over here. Fort Knox is down in this area, right?
Fort
West
Knox
of
is
it.
just north of Elizabethtown. You got it right up there by
Oh, right there.
Radcliffe
There
and
it
all
is.
that. Wow, this is a
Right
blessing,
there.
dude. Um,
Look how
so
there's no details on Google Maps of Fort Knox.
yeah, no. So I sold everything around that. I think was that whole county I was in. I think it was
Pine
called
Grove.
Meade County, if I remember correctly.
Wow, dude, that's sick.
It
And
was
you're
fun.
like, hey, blessing in disguise.
You
Fuck
never know.
Elizabethtown.
Yeah.
E-Town sucks ass. You guys are the worst.
Oh man.
Hope you guys know it. And now we're going to go to Fort Knox and
Yeah.
kill it over in Fort K. Let's go.
It went well,
Dude,
man.
dope. Dope. And you
Yeah.
came back for one more. Did you know it was gonna be your last one, or were you like,
No.
ah, maybe I'll do a DSM?
I don't remember if I went into it knowing it was going to be my last one or not. I think I might have decided after that I needed to go find myself and backpack through Europe or Orlando.
Right.
Um,
And meet Pharrell and do some music.
yeah. No, but I did enter that summer knowing like intentionally, okay, this is the year I'm going to learn how to recruit and train and manage. And I'm so glad I did that because it's completely like impacted the way that I decided to go into real estate. Um, so third summer was in Pennsylvania. I did get to meet some Amish people, but it wasn't like my
Yeah.
main faction of sales up there. Um,
Dude, dude, real quick. The last episode we recorded, so just yesterday, AB Wasserman we recorded. She is Jewish. And
yeah,
she was in Pennsylvania. She was in what's the fucking town? Wilsonville, I think.
yeah.
And she met some Amish people and she was telling me Bible libraries. And one of them was like, do you believe in Jesus?
Oh,
If you guys want to hear the full story, go back and check out that episode after this. But
I have to
she's
come
Jew, and I was like, "Yeah, dude." She's like, "Jesus? You mean the goat of all Jews?" She,
back.
she knows. She knows who he is.
That's so funny, man. Yeah,
Oh, so
I've talked to other people that have sold in, Pennsylvania or Ohio or somewhere that are like,
yeah,
"No, no, all I did was sell to Amish people." Like, that was
yeah,
my whole sales plan the entire
dude,
summer, like
dude. Darta Solita or some.
yeah,
A girl. There's a girl from Europe that we had on the show in June. June was like all European month,
Nice.
And bro, she broke it might have been, yeah, I think it was Darta. She was the number one experience dealer, sold 13,000 units, and she only sold Amish.
That's I don't
And crazy.
Yeah. I couldn't the only Amish people that I could sell to, like, they didn't want to see anything that had the human body, like, shown interior, wise. It was, like, only the and I don't even think I had family Bible libraries to sell. I think it was just, like, an animal book. I was like, "Look at all these animals." Like, that was all
The
I
ask me's for the Mufus and ask me's for
Yeah. Yeah. Um But yeah, that summer, so I was in Altoona, Pennsylvania, was where I stayed. I can't remember. That was my first and only summer that I had an HQ set up for me. That was amazing. Uh,
what a trip.
yeah, it was Bonnie Benson had a basement for real. That was her name. So we lived in Bonnie Benson's basement.
That's
And
a BBB.
yeah,
Trip with the Better Business Bureau. Buddy
yeah.
Benson's basement.
So that summer I recruited a team of 7, and it was that was just I sold again, like, coming from my first to second and second to third, like, I sold a little bit more that summer, but I really learned so much more just in the process of training and managing emotions every night with my kids, um,
How many people did you take out that summer?
I brought 7 out, and if I'm being totally transparent, there was one that I didn't want to bring out. And there was a organizational individual named Mort that was like, you need another person, like, get that person. And I was like, all right. And so I selected them, and they quit the first week.
Of course.
But
More
my
did not know best.
No, not that time. But all 6 of the other ones finished. And I don't think, any of them, I don't think really went on to be like the Southwestern rock stars or anything like that, but like their lives were just completely changed, man. And that was, yeah, that process, it was super helpful for me, man. Just getting to see them finish and getting to see them at checkout and help them at checkout, how much pride they had and just how comfortable they had gotten with being uncomfortable. And some of the people I recruited were like the most quiet individuals. Like, one was literally an engineer that English was his second language, and he was just a
Yeah.
quiet person, but he was so happy that he did it by the end of the summer, man.
That's awesome. You
That
changed
was
people's lives.
It
You
filled my
changed their
cup, man.
lives.
It really did. Yeah, it filled my cup more than delivering a set of books did.
Well, and it's crazy because that's what led you to learn about how to recruit for your current career, and that's such a big,
Yeah,
like, that's a big deal.
yeah,
That's not a lightly taken thing, bro. That's an actual, like, you change someone's life, and they are currently living their best life, which
yeah,
is as cheesy as that might sound. They're currently living a life that they never might have maybe been able to do without.
yeah.
The fact that you said, "Hey, what are you doing next summer?" And let me tell you about what we did.
And that
That's
yeah,
cool.
and it's truly the way I still feel. Like I said, when we bring people into our team here at Southwestern Real Estate, it's not that I think there's a lot of people that sell a lot more real estate than me. Like, not that my ego is like I'm the best and you should learn from me, but I know that, like, bringing them in and getting them surrounded by me and some of the other people in our company and just having them be constantly in that culture, truly, it's like just beyond business, it's all categories of your life that, iron sharpens
Yeah,
iron.
dude.
Yeah,
Dude, huge, huge. That is fucking awesome, dude.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
That is so cool.
Thank you.
Well, bro, let's just jump into some ponytails.
Uh,
Sounds like it's a pretty solid time. If you guys don't know, ponytails is where we have the best stories saved for last. So I'm glad that you guys stuck around. If you're here this far with us, it's been a great episode. I've had a blast for the last hour 18. You
yeah.
you doing all right? All right, cool.
Fun,
I'm
man.
out of vodka and hum, so we've had a good time that way.
Yeah,
Um, and you're crushing. It looks like you're almost done with your beer.
yeah. I'm getting about there. Yeah, I'm at the
Cool.
bottom.
So I poured a shit ton of vodka. So
Feeling good.
Yeah, well, I got a high tolerance for alcohol, so it's kind of hard to, get there. But now, yeah, it's good buzz.
Good man.
So let's jump into some ponytails. It can be 17 stories, it could be one big story, whatever you want to do. The
Yeah,
microphone is yours, my friend Nick Sproul. I've had a blast, but
yeah, me
now
too.
over to you, my friend.
Cool. All right, so just a few stories and little bit of funny, a little bit of serious. Man, my first day. Let me, Andres, did you ever get bit by a dog on the book field?
Oh, chihuahuas 2 times. Fucking
Chihuahuas
hate
2
chihuahuas.
times. So
I hate
so
chihuahuas.
my first day in West Virginia, and granted, again, like just to paint the picture, I'm this little city boy with a real short fade, just thinking, just totally out of my element. And I start knocking on doors, and like one of the first doors I knock on, somebody's like, "Oh, you don't know what just happened around here?" And I'm like, What just happened?" And he's like, "Dude, a flood just came through and decimated the whole town you're about to work. Like this whole town, half of these houses are empty, half of these people are rebuilding. Like there's nothing here. Everybody's broke." I'm like, sweet. Like I got bad territory on like the third door, right? And then so I
Great.
keep going, right? I know it's 30 demos a day or however many sit downs a day. And so I keep knocking. And then it's about like noon, and I go down this long driveway and up this, the steps of this double wide, and I knock on the door, and I hear like a doo, 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 doo. And I'm like, it's not the sound of kids running around on the bottom of a double wide. It's not that doo, doo, doo. It's some running, but this running is coming from the backyard. And so I see a big dog running from the backyard completely around the double wide, and I'm cornered up here on the porch. And I remember this is day one, man, and I'm wearing long pants because it was still cool in the morning in West Virginia in May. And day one, I remember my dogology training. Like I get my bag, I'm trying to like stiff arm the dog basically, but he gets to me, man, and this dog grabs a hold of my leg, and bites through the pants and like bites into my leg. Broke,
Bro.
broke skin. I'm bleeding. Like day one on the book field. I'm like a few hours in, and I'm like, God is testing your boy already. Um,
How
so
did you not quit, dude? How did you not quit? Shitty HQ. You had your cool card all
uh,
through sales school.
yeah,
You're in West fucking Virginia, and you
yeah,
get bit by a dog
on day one.
that
And
breaks skin on
so
day one,
I
and all
swing
your roommates quit.
I swing my bag. Finally, I like get the dog off me and get in my car and drive away. But here's the insane part. You know what kind of dog this was? It was a golden retriever, like
Son of a
Air
bitch.
Bud, like the Full House dog. Like,
America's dog.
yeah, who
America's dog.
everybody thinks is the most friendly dog in the world. This golden retriever was a country dog, man. He was not playing.
You know what? I'm not even surprised. Let me tell you a
Yeah,
funny story in between
yeah,
your ponytails. So sorry to
yeah, yeah.
interrupt. Bro, so I have 2 dogs. One of them, his name is Goku. I mean, come on,
Nice.
great name for a dog. And
Of course.
Bulma, which if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, Bulma makes sense with Goku.
Yeah,
But anyway, Bulma's a pit bull and Goku is a pit mix.
yeah,
And when I told my sister-in-law that we were getting pit bulls, she's like, I don't know if I can have you bring those dogs around the house, or pit bulls are they're gonna like they're with kids. Her youngest is like 13, by the
yeah,
way. So it's not like it's gonna like they'll be fine. I was like, no, they're not. Pit bulls are like I know they get the bad rep, but honestly, they're actually great with kids. They're like known, if you actually look, they're great family dogs. Like they
yeah,
are so good with kids, they're amazing guard dogs, and they're just really loyal. I mean, I've never had a problem. I love my dogs. And she's like, you know what? So we're having this conversation. She goes, you know what? You find me an article, any evidence of a golden retriever being mean, and I'll just put this to bed. I'm
mhm,
like, okay, just all right, just sit right there. I
yeah,
Googled this, dude. I actually was kind of scared that she was right, because I'm like, you know what? Golden retrievers are like
yeah,
fluffy,
yeah,
like they're teddy bears. They're teddy bears, dog teddy bears. Bro, no, they're fucking insane. They like I found out there was I just like like literally Googled like golden retriever attack,
yeah,
and it was literally like graphic. They bite babies. They don't like babies. They're
Yeah.
not good with kids sometimes. Like they're
Yeah.
not unknown to not be good with kids. I mean, some of them are fine. They're the traditional what you expect. They're
Yeah.
mean. They are
Yeah.
mean dogs,
I
dude. They
had
are
no
not
idea.
nice.
I had no idea, man. I never met country dogs before. Like I met inside dogs growing up in South Florida. These outside dogs
Get your
will
ass bit.
they will eat your tires as you drive away, man.
Dude,
Like you know.
yes.
Yeah,
And they'll pop them.
it's
The
insane.
for real. They're
I don't get
mean.
it.
I
Yeah.
got bit twice, 2 chihuahuas, and you got is that the only time you got bit and it was a golden
After
retriever?
I'm telling you, man, like after that, I had developed a real defense. I had another time where a boxer chased me back to my car. Boxers were like wild, energetic, fast.
Yeah.
Like if you were walking up to their house, sometimes they'll just dart. This one
Yeah, they don't fuck
darted
around.
after me. I ran back to my car, swung my door open, and he just like in a cartoon, man, just hit right against my door, and
Thunk.
I got in at the last minute. But no, I never got bit. I never allowed another dog to bite me again after that.
Damn. A
Wild.
good dog bite story. I don't think we've had a dog bite story in a while. We needed one. We
Well,
needed one.
yeah.
We're trying to collect all social difference ponytails. So like we'll do like a compilation where it's like all Sizzler story ponytails, and we'll just make like an hour-long video of those, and
Yeah.
then dog bites, and then like time whatever. So this is a good little
Go.
got bit by a dog story. This is
Yeah.
great.
You're gonna have to put a
Sorry
little
that happened to you.
tag on that one. Yeah. It was a good time.
Hell yeah. Good old fluffers bit you.
Yeah, man. So next, and that was that was day one. Yeah, I thought I was for sure like, before that sale happened where, the lady bought all kinds of random stuff from me. It was like, this is insane. Why did I do this? I'm in a flood zone. Like it's ridiculous here. Like, so anyways, thank you, dog, for biting me. First lady for buying from me, and thank God I kept going, man.
Wow.
And then second summer in Kentucky, before I went to the Fort Knox area, the area I was selling in before was also like super country, very rural, and I think people could like sense it on me that like you ain't from around here, is you type of thing, like and like so every once in a while you would get the dad that like just really wanted to mess with you. And so I've told this is probably like my one of my favorite book stories. So I'm in a presentation. I'm somewhere in Kentucky, and it's going really well. I got mom and dad and the two kids there. I'm sitting on the floor. I'm demoing all these books. Like I'm showing the math. Like, oh, here's the difference between how they did it and how you do it. And they're super into it. The kids are like, that's awesome. Mom's like, that's great. And dad is just like one of these hecklers that's just like,
Oh,
he's like, I'm gonna find opportunities to take this kid off his game. And he knows like I'm not from there. So he keeps saying really country things to me. And he's like, hey Nick, like, are you off of work on Saturday? Like, you can come over here, we can hunt some rattlesnakes, like we'll wrestle them up, we're gonna get these rattlesnakes. And I'm just like, no, man, like I still gotta work on Saturday. Like, I can't be out here hunting rattlesnakes. I got a ton of books to sell. And like, oh, by the way, kids, do you know like what a rhinoceros horn is made out of? So I just like keep trying to go back into the demo, right? Like, do you know what these asmies are like? What was the shrimp one? What does a flamingo? What turns a flamingo pink is the shrimp that they
yeah,
eat. So I'm showing
that's
them
right.
that they're eating them up, and then the dad jumps in again, and he's like, hey Nick, like what about Sunday? Sunday, are you off? Like maybe on Sunday you can come over. We can go noodling. You know what noodling is, bro? Have you heard that?
No idea. What
You
the fuck
never.
is noodling?
So noodling is when I didn't know what it was either, but noodling is when you literally stick your arm into a hole in a river that a catfish lives in, and you allow the catfish to bite your arm, and then you pull it out of the hole and you wrestle the catfish, and that's how you catch a catfish. So the dad's like, Nick, you want to go noodling? Yeah, I had never heard of this, so Google it. It's a real thing, and in Kentucky or wherever I was, like, it was definitely a real thing. So I'm like, no, I can't go noodling. Like, still got more books to sell, man. Like, I gotta keep going here. I go back into the demo again. Like, they're loving it. And then finally, the dad's like, hey Nick, you want to shoot my rooster? Like, I got a rooster in the back right now. Like, we got guns right over there. Like, we're gonna eat a chicken for dinner. Nick, you want to shoot my rooster? And by this point, like, the family's into it, and I'm like so done with this dad that I'm like, sir, Go get the gun. Like, I will shoot your rooster.
Let's go. Fuck it. I'll call your bluff.
So yeah, I did. And I'm sorry for all the PETA folks out there. so the dad goes and grabs the gun off the wall. The family is like buying, by the way, they're into it, but they hadn't bought yet. And then grabs the gun off the wall. We walk out back. The dad loads the gun and hands it to me, and he's like, "All right, you see all those roosters over there? Like, you can shoot any one of them. Don't shoot that one right there, but you can shoot any one of those roosters right there. Like, go ahead, Nick, just let it rip." So I like pull the gun up. I look over at dad and
knock, knock. Last off schedule story. Guys, I want to tell you about my good friend, Alex Black. I used to work over at EnLight.Energy, and it was a pleasure working with him and that entire company. Definitely would recommend you guys check out what that opportunity is. It was a great way to make money, and it was one of the most rewarding experiences I had to help people take ownership of their power. It's pretty cool. So on that note, let's finish up this episode. Bye.
dad's like, "Yeah, it's cool, go for it." And I'm like, "All right, I'm going for it." So I pull the trigger, bang, I shoot the rooster. The rooster falls over dead. And I look over at the dad, and the dad is like, "No." He's like, "No, you shot Gus. I've had Gus since I was 12. I can't believe you did that." And I'm
Oh,
I'm like still holding the gun here, and I'm like, I'm not leaving here alive. This guy, I just shot his favorite rooster. And he's crazy enough that, yeah, it might be a problem. And then he's like, "No,
he's
I'm
gonna
just
shoot
playing."
me.
he's like, "Nah, I'm just playing. I don't know any of those roosters' names. Like, we're gonna eat that chicken right there." Like, I'm like, "Thank God, thank you, Lord." And then
You
they
should have been
bought.
like, you better freeze Gus and have him grilled when I come back and deliver your damn books, Mr. Customer, sir.
Oh man, fried chicken on. Yeah, but then they bought. Then they bought after I shot their rooster. It was awesome.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's some real KFC right there. Some organic homebred KFC.
Yeah.
Ting.
Everybody's, like the managers always used to be like, "All right, now 20-minute sit downs, guys. Like, keep your sit downs pretty quick." But like
Yeah,
everybody that sold books is like has a story of like a 2 or 3 hour sit down where something like that happened.
that's right, sir. It's what they really mean is the average. So if you have a 2-hour sit down, just make another one 2 minutes.
Yeah, you're good. So good.
Oh man,
Um,
that's epic.
so
To Gus, should we do a toast to Gus?
yeah,
Yeah.
man, let's do a toast to Gus.
I'll do a quick little. I've already been drinking too much. I got another episode to record later today.
Yeah, how's that
Well,
gonna?
we're gonna arrive saucy. Let's
It's
do
gonna
it.
be fun. Yeah,
To
cheers,
Gus.
Gus. Yeah, man.
Can you see that? That's a solid low.
There we go. Oh, Gus. R.I.P.
Gus the cock.
That's right. At least I think. I don't even know what the difference between a male chicken and a female. I just shot a rooster.
One of them has a penis, according to science. Other than that, I don't really know.
Fair enough. It wasn't very visible, but I trust
Yeah.
there was one there. Yeah.
There's a soundbite for you. That we're gonna pull that bit out and make it into a that'll be a trailer.
That's gonna be that. Oh man.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're
Go
good, man. And then one more story was this one is like kind of I probably should have started with this one and then gone to the funny ones because this one's like a little more like serious.
Okay.
But so my second summer, man, I'm out there. So this is in Kentucky too, like right in the middle of the summer, and you're not supposed to turn your phone on, but like middle of the day, I'm like in a funk, like going through it, knocking on doors. I turn my phone on, and I got a voicemail that a close friend of mine had committed suicide in the middle of my summer, and
Oh shit, dude.
and I'm like, holy shit, like it's kind of it was mind blowing. Of course, like this is a kid that I grew up with. He was a couple years older than me, and like in July, right in the middle of the summer, I turn my phone on, I get this, and I'm just like, stopping my tracks. Of course, like anybody would do. So I drove back home, and from from Kentucky, I drove back home. I went to the funeral and was just, completely out of book world for a few days and just like kind of going through it, trying to figure it out. Dude, like a 13-hour drive is a long time to think about everything that's important in life. So 13 hours down and 13 hours back. And I get back on a Sunday. And I just remember, like, I arrived back in the middle of a Sunday meeting and I went to the Sunday meeting. And I was just like, I don't know, man. Like, I was trying to figure out, like, how am I supposed to feel about this? Southwestern does a very good job of, like, hey, think positive all the time, right? Like, always like interject positive into everything. And that's kind of a hard thing to do when somebody close to you has just died, right? But
Especially in that way. Yeah.
it was tough, man. And so, like, but I was trying to just figure out, like, well, how am I supposed to tell myself to think about this? And I had a PC with a manager at that time. Her name was Megan Cannell. I don't know if she should be on this at some point too. She sold for a few summers, but she was kind of like just jammed into my head, like, dude, like, what do you think? Like, what will your boy want you to do? Your boy wouldn't want your life to stop out here. And I had that leading up to that week, the best week that I had ever sold was about 450 units. This is my second summer. Um, and and so I had always wanted to hit PC, which I think if it still is, it was 600 units at that time, and 450 was my best ever. And for some reason, like that Sunday, I just decided, like, this week, it's the week. Like, I got nothing to lose, like, mentally, emotionally, physically. I'm just gonna go out there and just, like, literally work harder than I've ever worked and not think about the results of it, and just, like, I was in this constant flow of just like praying to God and the universe in between every single door, and then just going up and knocking on the door like I was a robot and didn't think about it. And that freaking week, man, by Saturday morning, I was at like 675. Yeah, and it was my first, like, so I don't know. I finished that week like something just under 700. So I think it was 675 was what I finished the week, but my best week ever before that was 450. And it was just like this. It was like, I don't know, man. I've been trying. Like, sometimes I'll talk to other people about this, and I'm like, how do I describe what happened there? Like, how do you describe the concept of like entering the zone?
Being in the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just getting and just being in flow, bro. It's such
Yeah.
a cool feeling.
And for a time that was like so emotionally like draining, but also that I was just so, focused on, I'm just going to give it everything I have for this other purpose. And it was crazy, man. So that was the best week I ever had. I never hit PC again. I probably never had another reason as important as that to hit PC again. I was always a very like consistent producer, but never had like huge weeks. But man, is like something in life happens and something turns on, and just it was the zone. It was crazy. But
What a blast.
yeah, man,
What a powerful, impactful moment in your life. You're like,
it really
hey,
was. Yeah, and
wow.
there's this concept I've heard, Dustin Hillis talk about this concept of like confidence anchors before, where like think about a time in your life where you did something that was completely like you didn't believe you could actually do it. And I think about that time often now when I'm trying to do something else, like as a confidence anchor, like, well, you definitely can. So
Yeah, because you did that. That's crazy.
yeah.
Wow, dude.
I feel like selling books, one of the biggest things I got from it was this epiphany that like truly every single struggle is truly, is a blessing in disguise, and you just can't see it at that moment. And then later you figure it out. Yeah.
Dude, that is a solid ponytail.
Yeah.
That was a good third. I'm glad you left that for the end because that was
Good, man.
solid.
Good.
Wow. Well, I mean, I have to say really quick, I'm sorry for your loss. That's a tough time. It's a tough thing to go through, and
Yeah,
it's
that's
so hard when it's in that circumstance. Um,
yeah.
you you always think about like things that you could have done
Hmm.
to maybe it was you try to blame yourself in a way sometimes, and it's
Yeah.
then you come to the realization that there's nothing you could have done,
Right.
and then it's a tough thing to go through.
Oh yeah,
I
and then
don't wish
that's
that
where
upon anybody.
your brain, yeah, your brain goes straight to that anytime you experience a loss like that, man.
Yeah,
What you could have done differently, and well, shit, maybe if I wasn't out here knocking on doors for 80 hours a week, I
yeah,
would have been in
yeah.
touch with him more. And like, it's not reality, but yeah, it was tough for sure.
But it's not reality, but it will 100% fuck with your brain.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it'll like really mess with you
yeah,
internally, and you,
um,
yeah, man, that's tough.
yeah, yeah,
Ah, but hey, you know what? You honored him,
yeah, man,
him,
yeah,
him
him,
well, and you know
yeah,
you said your boy, so yeah, you honored him well, and you really, found the potential inside, like what the
yeah,
things that you can do in a flow. And so, you set yourself a standard that you're like, hey, I know that I can do that. So
for sure,
that's if you can do it once, you can do it again. And that's a big thing for you too. So
absolutely, man,
damn, dude.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Summers, dude, I mean, that was kind of the beauty of it was like having to, I think, whether it was the story of the first day getting bit by the dog or going through something as tough as that and life changing as that. But selling books constantly gives you the opportunity to make a decision over and over again about whether you're gonna react, you know, in a way that's gonna better you for the long run or a way that's gonna be worse off for you for the long run. It's like just there's not really that many jobs where you get to be forced to make that decision over and over and over again.
Yeah. And at such an impressionable age, right? Where you're like, that's an important time in your life to learn that. I mean, you can learn it later on in life, that's the problem. But when you learn it at that point in your life, that's really important because then
Yeah,
it changes the way that your trajectory goes in your 20s and 30s, which is, you know, a very formative point in your life.
for sure, man.
So that's crazy, man. Well, dude, Nick, I feel like this is a solid place
Yeah,
to say this has been a great episode.
I hope so,
I
man.
hope you had fun on the show,
Yeah,
man. I hope you had a good time.
yeah, that was a good time, man. I'll tell people to watch.
Hell yeah, I'm
I'm
happy
gonna,
about
I'm
that.
gonna
So
definitely go back and check out some of these other episodes for sure.
yeah, they're hilarious, bro. Every single one of them have been like this. It's just I cannot believe that this is what I get to do for work. So I'm very honored that you're here, and
Yeah,
I appreciate your time, man. We'll call it good on this one, guys. Thank you so much for listening in. My name is Andres Gamboa. I am the host of the Ponytails podcast, but really, I am just honored to have our guests come onto this show and share their experiences. And of course, today was no different than some of the other ones that we've had, where it was just such a cool, exciting, and deep thought conversation with my man Nick Sproul. Thank you so
yeah,
much, my friend. I'll let you know next time I'm in Miami. I'll probably be down there again for the Formula One Grand Prix next year. So we'll have to just go grab a couple beers and
let's do it.
uh, hang out a little bit more on
Take you
that
to
note. So one
Hollywood
more.
Brewing Company on the beach. Come on.
Yeah, that's what we gotta do, bro. Oh, let's go, guys. If you want some more information on how to get a hold of Nick, again, that's Nick Sproul sells at gmail.com. NickSproulsells at gmail.com. You can pick his brain about real estate. Maybe if you are curious about learning how to work with Southwestern Real Estate, of course, we are one of their partners. Love working with them. Pat Roach and everyone that we've had on the show
Yeah,
from real estate has been phenomenal. Again, if you guys want more information on how to do that, if you sold books and you heard about them through us, you get an automatic interview with Pat. So
nice.
make sure you reach out to us for that for sure. On that note, guys, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, everyone. Bye.
Thanks for having me.